the key with choosing when to publish was not to pile on Ohio State, but it was, again, are you advancing the story? For example, when we were able to obtain the records that really kind of showed that Coach Tressel was kind of doing his own investigation. He was on his own contacting Ted Sarniak over in Pennsylvania and continuing to communicate with Chris Cicero. And Joe Riepenhoff discovered in the phone records that he contacted an FBI agent. Now, that's been explained to us that that call had nothing to do with the Ohio State investigation. We put that out there and let the readers make that determination themselves. But with each story, with each piece of new information that you can verify as being credible, from my perspective, if it was substantial and moved the story forward, then you make the decision to publish.
I think I came out stronger than most people had expected because he had treated me so well. I mean, he let me ask the last question at the press conference. It's kind of like Helen Thomas. You guys will have to Google who she is, but
you did better than Helen on the questions, though, Marla.
But he always, you know, if I needed something about a player going to the NFL, he'd call me back like 5 minutes later. I mean, during the time that I knew him, he, like I said, he was great to me. So it was a struggle internally for me to say that I thought he was wrong and he lied and he should, you know, he has to go. And that's kind of, like I said, we have to, Terry and I kind of have to sort that out, and then we have to discuss it with our bosses about, you know, is this the time we want to say this and that kind of thing. But like I said, it was an internal battle on this one. And the only thing that I can compare this to in the time that I've been the columnist was Tiger Woods, because I feel like we were led down the garden path with this great image of, you know, in Tiger's case, the great family man, you know, kids running out on the green after he wins, that kind of thing, that we were sort of bamboozled by his image. And we sort of, you know, I'm not saying that Jim Tressel isn't a good man in a lot of regards. I still think he is. But, you know, I at least felt somewhat violated by the fact that I believed all this. And so it's kind of like, you know, how far do you want to go with all that kind of emotion? And it was a very emotional issue to put into words, at least for me.
Part of our job, too, not only is to have an opinion, it is also sometimes to bring clarity. Like in Ohio State, there were two clear issues here. One was all the tattoos, and maybe if you kind of make a little connector to whatever was going on with cars. And the other was the conduct of the coach and the university over here. To me, that was the by far more serious consideration, was the coach stuff. So you divide one from the other, because really, if you go on, you know, this sounds like it's just a reality. On most major college campuses, you've got, as I mentioned before, this knucklehead cheating going on. It's just how it is. But the question is always, just like in your family, if you find out you got a problem, well, what do the parents do about it? And when do they confront it, and so on. And so that's one of the biggest things I try to do is, and I listened a lot to the previous thing here about tweeting and so on. You're trying to evaluate the source of what's being reported, and also, is it being reported fairly, or is it just clearly coming from one side, somebody trying to grab a headline? And believe me, forget science, I'm not even sure it's art. Sometimes you feel like it's guesswork, totally, on trying to guess, you know, what exactly all this means. I know we're not supposed to say that because we're supposed to be, you know, older and around and know all this stuff, but I'll tell you, it is really the classic thing. The older you are, the more you do, sometimes the less you feel like you know, for sure.